Here are 10 questions to ask before you get engaged. You can watch this whether you are single so that you can prepare yourself for the future. If you are somebody who is in a relationship for a few months, a few years, you've been dating for a while, watch this video together with your girlfriend. Or ladies, watch it with your boyfriend. If that's too uncomfortable for you, take a screenshot as I go through the 10 questions on the screen and write them down and go through it together privately with your partner. Why is this important to do? Because most men and women, due to a generational knowledge gap on love, courtship and relationships, do not place a lot of importance of asking uncomfortable truths when it comes to vulnerability to build a genuine relationship. Most people have a very simplistic view of relationships. As long as they find you attractive or you're the first one who comes along, that's it, they're sold. And they don't actually vet to truly make certain that that person is right for them, that they have the same values. This is why you hear so many stories of people who marry and later on they're like, wait a minute, when I was dating them, they're a different person. This is not the same person I'm with. What's going on? It is because most men and women marry a stranger. And it's your choice. I do not want that to happen to you. This is why I've listed 10 questions that are very specific and they're not romantic. Not most of them. They're very harsh, very blunt. You may think, but Christian, some of these questions, I'd be uncomfortable to ask them. And you should be. I'm afraid of the answer they're going to give me. Well, this is why you want to ask now instead of once you're married and then you find out that there's something wrong. Okay? It is far easier to walk away in the early stages of dating as opposed to once you've invested months or years into a marriage and you have kids or you already have kids along the way. That makes it really hard. Okay? And it's ultimately your choice. You can ask these questions now and have answers so that you can make an informed decision, or you can find out later on. But either way, you will. Do not gamble on your marriage. Do not gamble on building a legacy of, let's just see where it goes. Let me see if she's right for me or not. And I'm speaking to the men here because most of my audience is male. So guys, be very careful. For the ladies watching, you too. Ask these questions. And you should expect them to ask you the same questions back. So again, these are 10 questions. We're going to go through them right now. And just to let you all know, the 10th and the final one is my favorite, right? Save the best till last. So with that said, let's get started. Number 1, gentlemen, this is really important for the ladies too. What are your beliefs about prenuptial agreements? Prenups usually reflect lack of trust as well as an incomplete commitment. When you marry, you need to go into marriage with your eyes wide open, but with the intent that you will be together till death do you part. I truly believe that if you have accurately vetted the person you are with, and you know there's genuine desire and shared values and there's no red flags, you shouldn't want a prenup. There should be no reason for it. If you're going to become one and grow together and create life together, create children, grow old together, go through all the highs and lows of life, but yet you don't trust them so that you need to have a prenup just in case, then why would you even get married in the first place? You can cut the cake however way you want, but prenups always denote an incomplete commitment. So this is a very important question to ask, preferably as soon as possible. Because ladies, there's men out there and they have scars, they're into red pill, they have a very bad past and they haven't healed. And they think they can't trust a woman, so they want a prenup. And same thing, well, on the flip side for the guys, there's women out there that will want a prenup for their own reasons. And you want to ask and figure out why. Whether you both agree or not, that's between both of you. Question number 2. 10 years from now, where would you like to be emotionally? How about spiritually? How about economically? And what about family size? This is a question that gets a lot of people with the deer in the headlights situation. People don't usually ask this. You'd be surprised. Most people do not think ahead where they're going to be in the future. Most people are living for the weekend. They're trying to survive. They're trying to get by. But when you are dating, especially when you date to marry, this should be something that's seared to the front of your mind. You are on the ball about this. You are on the lookout to make certain that they are right for you. So ask yourself, gentlemen, even for you, 10 years from now, where would you want to be emotionally? See what answer she gives you. Has your partner thought about their own personal growth? Most people have a lot of pride, have an ego, and they do not accurately reflect on their past mistakes, on their behavior, on their maybe negative patterns, maybe things that family or friends have brought up about them that they don't want to acknowledge because of their ego. So if the answer you get is that, well, I'm happy the way I am, emotionally speaking, I'm okay, I'd be cautious, because everybody has something that they can work on, that they can improve and grow from. And remember, when people are prideful, they don't want to learn. They don't want to grow. So be careful. It's easier to answer the last two questions. Everyone economically will say, yeah, I want a stable job, or I want a stable home for the kids. I'd like my debt paid off. I'd like to live in this beautiful place in the countryside. People usually think of those things, Family size, most people typically will have an idea. I want a couple kids, I want one kid, I want three, I want to adopt kids. People have their different opinions. These are more of the easier ones to answer, right? But when you get into the first two, how are you doing spiritually? What's their walk like with Christ? Do they believe in the Lord? Do they believe in God? What's that looking like? Where would they want that to be in the next 10 years? That really makes you think. Emotionally, maybe they have wounds from their childhood or their past that they haven't healed from. Do they want to heal from that in the next few years? Or do they just want to bottle it up and not talk about it with you? Because if you're going to be one flesh, you need to know everything about this person. And if you're giving general answers, ask for specifics. Okay? Number 3. What is there in your life that you would never want to change, or that you would never be able to let go of? This is a really strong one, because it gives you insight into your partner's values. It is good to know about this now, because there could be major or insignificant things to cover. They might tell you something that they never want to change, that you might not be able to accept. Or maybe you can. Maybe there's something that happened to them that they don't want to let go of because of their pride, or something. They have their reasons. Could you accept that? Or is that going to be a problem? Could you live with that for the rest of your life? Where did these values originate that they have? Are these values similar, or the opposite ends to yours? Because similar values are essential for a quality marriage. And a lot of people, you get with someone who's a party freak, they like going out, they like clubbing, they never want to let go of that lifestyle. And they've been dating for 5 years, they're not married yet, and the guy or the girl hopes, if I just keep dating them, then eventually they'll calm down and they'll stop wanting to live that way. They might not want to give that up. What are you going to do about it? It's better to ask now, the sooner you start dating, versus when your feelings get involved. Number 4, can you think of any loss in your life that you've never fully grieved over? This is a good one. This can be a broken relationship. This can be a past marriage that failed. It can be something personal, a health problem, losing a pet. Everybody's had loss. And if you or the woman or the man, whoever you're with, ladies and gentlemen, hasn't grieved when losses have occurred, it's going to come back and it will intensify in their next loss. And the older you get, as you go through life, you start losing people. Family, parents, cousins, uncles, aunts, friends. People, you'd be surprised how many people start dropping like flies. And if someone isn't emotionally equipped to deal with grief, what's going to happen when you have kids or a family of your own and loss starts to happen? Some people go off the rails and they want to end it. They turn to substance abuse or other things. You want to really think about this, because this is who you're getting involved with. Losses can seriously interfere with relationships. And if they're still grieving something like a rejection, they're not over someone, the one that got away, and they're settling for you, you are screwed. So you need to seriously ask yourself, do you both have a healthy pattern of grieving? Can you actually let go? Because you're going to need this for the future. please be certain to discuss this one together. Number 5. These are all of the activities that I enjoy doing. You can list your hobbies, right? What you like doing. Of all these things, which ones wouldn't you enjoy doing with me? Many couples discover that their partner never really enjoyed some of the activities that they participated in. But they only did that, because they want to make them happy. They don't really enjoy it. And this can cause a lot of resentment or a lot of shock later on. You hear it all the time with these guys that are addicted to football or sports. They try and get their girlfriend to come to the football games or the sport games, and all they talk about is sport. And the girl, because she loves the guy, she initially makes an effort, she shows a fake interest, but it's a form of courtship deception. She doesn't really care about football. Instead of being honest and telling him, look, I know you love football, honey. I don't mind listening to it, but I'm not as into it as you are. But I respect it, though. Instead, they go along with it. And then you think, oh yeah, now she's on the same side as me, she loves it, but she doesn't. You may feel hurt, but you're both going to be hurt from that, okay? So there are cases where couples will fake an interest in a hobby just so they can be together. And eventually that catches up to you sooner or later. So this is why courtship deception, it sends a message of, oh, I like it now and I'll like it after marriage. And then when you get married, you're like, wait a minute, they don't like the same things as me. What's going on? So you want to clear the air now and have a true understanding of their likes and dislikes. Because each of you are going to have your own separate hobbies as well as the ones you do together. And now you can separate a line. For example, I love, on the weekends or a few times in the week, gaming a little bit. Do some play some Call of Duty Warzone, do a bit of Minecraft or Hearts of Iron 4. I like gaming sometimes. That's my way of de-stressing. My girl doesn't like it. I do. That's my hobby, and she has her own baking or reading or whatever, So people have their own interests, but you have to make certain you have hobbies that you do enjoy. And by having a true understanding of this is going to make your quality time much more stronger. And be very careful with the girl that goes along with it. She tries to make an effort, or same thing, you're the guy. She likes doing something and you're always saying yes to her, but deep down you don't like it. Because eventually something's going to happen and you're going to burst. Okay? Because sharing nothing together, it does nothing for recreational intimacy. You don't want to be that couple that after you get married, you have that one argument where she starts listing out all the stuff you love that she hates, and you do the same. And next thing you know, you realize you're two people that may be attracted to each other, but there's nothing enjoyable that you both like doing that bonds you together. That causes problems. So take a list of all the activities, hobbies, things you like doing, passions you enjoy, and let her do the same. And think back on what you've been doing, what you haven't, what you enjoy together. Have a good understanding of this one. Number 6. What was the lowest point or most difficult time in your life, and how did you handle it? This is a heavy one. But if you're both dating to marry and you're serious about each other, it's better to start being vulnerable as soon as you can. Some couples, they lie or they hide things that have happened to them or things that they've done, and they wait until they're married. Some people wait till there's 2-3 kids and there's a mortgage and everything's secure, and then they reveal something about their past to their partner. And their partner feels betrayed because they're like, why didn't you tell me at the beginning? Oh, if I told you, you wouldn't have accepted me. And this can become a problem for many. I understand why some people don't trust their partner, and that's why. So you want to have those honest, vulnerable conversations from the get-go. And if you're serious and you're dating and you're in a relationship, you should technically know what their low point is. What was the worst thing that's happened to them? And if you don't, you better find out. And then you want to see if they're vulnerable or not. It does take time and trust to share openly in this area. Treat what your partner says as a gift and handle it carefully. Sometimes sharing about this can answer other questions you have, because we all carry scars from our past. But if there's still an open wound, it might be best for you to wait to actually marry them, to see if they actually heal or fix it, or maybe you might even have to walk away. Because some people have had terrible things happen to them and they don't want to tell a soul. and you can tell something's off. Maybe they're not open or they hide certain things from you. You want to get that sorted out. Number 7. What are 3 ways in which you see us as different? And what are 3 ways in which you see us as similar? And which of these are you most comfortable with? Couples are drawn together by our differences as well as our similarities, right? Masculine to female polarity, right? Sometimes we respond to certain differences, different interests or whatever, because it fills the empty spaces. Sometimes people get comfortable with their similarities. You may look at one another's differences now and say, oh, they're so unique, but then you always hear the story. After a couple of years of marriage, you find out, I knew you were different, but not this much. So a lot of people, when they start a relationship, they're in this rosy-colored, lustful glasses view, and they romanticize everything their partner does. Something they don't like, okay, maybe they're a bit dirty and they throw the trash to the side, or, they're a little bit messy. And you think, oh, it's so cute. Oh, look, they're so quirky. But then after you're married, you're like, now it pisses me off that they're messy or dirty, right? So, what was once so cute and so funny or made them so unique can become something that can annoy you, cause resentment, or really upset you. And you might grow to learn and view their differences as something wrong. And this is why you see a lot of, typically the woman in the marriage, she wants to try and change the husband. She sets out on a crusade to revise him and fix him and, mummy him, telling him how to eat, telling him how to sit, bossing him around, telling him what to do, what he can't do. And guys are shocked. Why is she doing this? She probably doesn't like some stuff about you, but at the beginning she thought it was cute. So you want to really figure that out now. So again, and likewise for you as a man watching, you don't want to become a revisionist where you have to fix and change her and tweak her and, adjust her. These aren't the settings on your iPhone. Okay, this is someone with a soul. So you want to be careful with that. Ask yourself, if you can't celebrate their differences now, if you can't now, you won't later. Consider this piece of scripture for your relationship in Ephesians 4:2. Living as becomes of you with complete lowliness of mind and meekness, with patience bearing one another and making allowances because you love one another. Can you truly accept her as she is, with her flaws, with her quirks? Can you accept the differences? It's easy to accept similarities, right? If you're both someone that likes to wake up early in the morning and you like to work out, great. But if you're very different, one's lazy, one's diligent, one's overweight, and one's at the gym 3 times a week, if they don't change that, there's going to be problems. So you need to ask yourself this question. More importantly, ask your partner this question. Number 8. Everyone brings baggage into a relationship. What baggage are you bringing? And would it fit in an attaché case, a carry-on bag, a small suitcase, or a trunk? What do I mean by baggage? Well, we'd all like to put our baggage in the smallest little attaché envelope as possible. But nowadays, there are expendable cases. Baggage could range from anywhere from rejections, abuse, promiscuity, substance abuse, financial problems, debt, work or relationship instability, cult-like behavior, erratic faith practices, and so on. Addictions. What's important is knowing that there is baggage, identifying it and its effects, and taking corrective steps to unpack the baggage so that you can both move together through the checkout in a healthy manner. This is where accountability comes in. This is why humility is so important. Your girl might spot something in you that you've been doing wrong, and she calls you out on it. Are you going to accept that you have something wrong and fix it or work on it? Or are you going to just tell her to be quiet? And same thing in the flipped situation. You may find something in the girl that's wrong. Can she accept that? Can she be honest about that baggage that you've identified if she hasn't? Maybe they come to you and they're honest about their baggage and they've worked on it or working on it. That's good. you need to really consider these things. Because the last thing you want to do is marry, move in, and next thing you know, there's a whole mess from their past that hasn't been solved. Number 9. When a person marries, they sever the cord of dependency or any allegiance to their parents. If you marry, which of these will be the most difficult to sever and why? Why is this an important question to ask? Because there are people out there who, because of a knowledge gap or mummy and daddy issues, put their mother and father more important than their future husband or wife. And when they're married, they do everything that mum and dad says. But Genesis 2:18 says, "For this reason a man grows old, leaves his mother and father, cleaves to his wife, and becomes one flesh." You form your own family. You're only responsible for your woman. And ladies, you're only responsible for being with your husband. Once you're married, unless you're being really abused, your parents, their opinion has no validity on your marriage. See, when a person severs the cord of dependency, it means not being dependent upon the parent for material or emotional support. Research shows that people that have completed this prior to marriage have a better chance for their marriage to grow. Hence why there are many people who have daddy and mummy issues, and they get married and mummy and daddy still come first. There's a mummy in the background telling the son what to do, right? The domineering mother. There's kids out there who are afraid of their parents and they marry and they're still scared of what mum and dad think. That's why it's low self-esteem 101. But severing allegiance means a transfer of priorities from parents to spouse. And for an example, would you be able to live 2,000 miles away from mum and dad? Because it can happen. Some people don't just live a few streets away or a few towns away. Some people go move in a different state, different country, different continent and start a new life with their spouse. Are you both okay with that? Because you need to start figuring out where you stand. And finally, last but not least, my favorite question to ask is, how do you know you're in love with your partner? This one is more romantic, but can also sting if there's problems. And there's a few tests here. Here are 9 little indicators of love. Number 1, the sharing test. Ask her, if you're the guys watching, right? Or ladies, ask it to the man you're with. Are you able to share together? Think about it, yes or no. Strength test. Does your love give you new strength and fill you with creative energy? Or do you always feel drained? Does it take away your energy when you're with them? Number 3, respect test. Do you really have respect for each other? Do you truly honor them? Or would you think less of them? Do you value other people above your spouse or spouse-to-be? Habit test, number 4. Do you only love each other? Or do you like each other and accept each other with your habits and all your shortcomings? Yes or no? 5, the time test. Have you known each other long enough to know each other well? Some things come out in time. Number 6, separation test. Do you feel an unusual joy when you're in their company? Are you excited to be around them? Do you look forward to seeing them when you've been away for the day at work or the week or something? Are you separated by time? Do you miss them? Do you crave them? Do you want to be near them? Or is there any pain in your separation? Because if you can go a day without them, a week without them, and you don't miss them, or you'd rather do something else, you might be with the wrong person. Number 7, the giving test. Are you in love to give? Would you sacrifice for them financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically? Would you do anything for them? Are you capable of giving more if they're struggling? Are they capable of doing that for you? Or does that make you uncomfortable? Number 8, growth test. Is your love dynamic in its growth? Are you more masculine because of her, gentlemen? Ladies, does he push you to be more feminine? Do they both bring you closer to God? Is your relationship maturing? Do you understand each other better? Do you get along better? Or is there more and more problems? Are you more and more distant? Number 9. Intimacy test. Is there mutual enjoyment of each other without the constant need of physical expression? That's something you have to consider. Because there's going to come a day when you're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. You're not going to be able to be physical and intimate and, run around, do a lot of physical activity, be close to each other physically, intimately. Because you age, you decay. Libido, all those things drop. Can you actually be around them without worrying about those things? Because if you're around this girl, or ladies, you're around this guy, and all you're thinking about is lust, you might be with the wrong person. It's very good to be attracted to them, but can you put that to the side and enjoy them as they are for who they are as a person? That's what you need to consider. Because when you're an old man or an old woman, you're just going to be sitting together on the porch talking about your experiences. You're not going to be super intimate as a young couple, right? I know a lot of people watching are Christians, so they're not going to, wait until marriage, unfortunately. But even for the young Christian couples, can you look past your lust? Can you look at them for who they are? This is very important to ask yourself. Can you just enjoy each other's company without it having to be about intimacy or lust? Can you truly enjoy who they are as a person? Ask yourself. This romantic, but it's uncomfortable. But these are the 10 questions that I think you should ask before you decide to get engaged. You don't want to have to force yourself into it. If you feel like something's wrong, why am I with them? I don't think I should go for the next step. You need to really give an audit to your relationship. So this has been 10 questions to ask before you get engaged. If you'd like full access to the document, I'll leave a link down below to my relationship community where you can sign up and gain full access to this document. And if you'd like to work with me personally, check out Relationship Mastery. And if you're a man who needs help, I'll leave a link down below so you can book a one-on-one call with me and I'll see if I can help you out. With that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families. And I'll see you all in the next one.